Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Love is Blind UK Season 2. My name is Brittany Simon. We do philosophy through pop culture, and we're using real people's lives to learn more about our own. We're back with episode 3. Let's see what happens.
Hey.
Hey girl, what's up?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Okay, so we're back with Anu and Patrick. They had a bad date last time. They felt disconnected about community, humility, and so let's see how this goes.
So in the time we spent together, what have I added to your life?
A lot of joy, a lot of excitement, curiosity. I'm very curious about you as a person.
Ooh, okay, so good question from Anu. And also, curiosity is one of my greatest held values. And that's interesting that he values curiosity because you have to be humble enough to be curious enough in many ways. Like, curiosity doesn't require humility, but I think deeper levels of curiosity, they do require humility because you have to have the humility to know you don't know. So it's interesting that in the last episode, he didn't feel good about humility because he felt like it was society telling you to feel like to lower yourself. It's like low vibration. I think of curiosity as the foundation in which you built your desire to know more. Humility is the tool you use to open your mind to things you don't know because you have to admit you don't know. And wisdom is maybe earned in a lifetime through these tools to sort of understand your place in the universe. So it's kind of interesting the way he phrases things.
Because I guess for me, I'm just myself. So I'm not really.
Wait. That edit didn't even make any sense. Let's rewind it. Hold on. Netflix? Are you messing with me, Netflix? She says to Patrick, what did I add to your life? He goes, Anu, what did you add to mine? And she goes, I don't know, I'm just going to be myself. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense that would have been her reaction. So did Netflix do this just to add tension? So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's nothing I can say to that.
Yeah, there's no way that was the edit. That's no way how the conversation just went. Netflix is pissing me off.
You're kind of only seeing me now.
Yeah.
You'd want to take that next step with me, or?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be here if I didn't feel like I want to take the next step with you, that's for sure. I am going to trust my spleen. A proposal would be the next step.
Interesting, because, again, because of the edit, I'm so frustrated by the edit. It's showing their faces and their faces are like this. And then their faces are like this. And it's like I'm being whiplashed through the edit. So now he's, talking about my spleen is telling me to marry you or at least propose. And now she's like, oh my God. It's just the edit is so, I don't know. I obviously feel like this was cut in a very weird way.
You be open to that? No?
So she's literally, so he asks her, she's eating. He's confused by that answer. This is the most awkward conversation. They're not going to pick each other now, right? There's no way they could pick each other at this point. But maybe the edit is making it look that way. So when they do pick each other, it's like, oh.
I think it's going to bring me to you. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Is she using the food as an excuse to not have to answer?
Do you know what? I haven't heard you sing yet.
Okay, and back to him, because last episode he did that too, where he was like, will you sing for me? And that's why they had the humility conversation. And now he's like, once again, will you sing for me?
First thing he told me is that you're a singer as well.
Well, yeah, when you ask what does someone do.
Are you going to?
Maybe I'll sing for you.
You don't want to, do you?
Maybe.
This is really awkward.
This has been a lot of clarity, actually.
I don't know what's happening with me, Patrick. I feel a bit confused.
It's interesting because he also said that by the end of this, they'll have an idea of what to do for sure. But it just seemed awkward and confusing, and it didn't lead to a breakup or a proposal, so now I'm confused.
The connection is gone. She's holding back, and that energy, it's not right.
So she's saying, I'm hopeful that things might change or it could change. He's saying she's pulled away, which, she has, which I think she should. But I wonder, with these kinds of shows, you would think in all indication of the edit that they were now going to break up because that would be the logical thing to do. But you also know, like in real life, we don't break up. And sometimes we're like, yeah, I'm going to marry this person.
I have a question.
Katisha's with Javin and she's looking for reassurance.
Yeah, please ask away.
So how do you feel about our connection?
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable about everything. Ultimately, like what will be, so.
Okay, playing it cool.
I can't play it any other way.
Wow.
I can't play it any other way.
See, Javen gives that. So she goes, oh, you're playing it cool. And he goes, I can't play it any other way. There's this immaturity.
I just feel you're holding back a little bit.
What do you feel like I'm holding back on?
You agree that our connection is strong?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree too. Why are you just not like laying all your cards on the table?
Do you think that if I was to do that, that would help you?
Ooh, okay, Javen, is that a good question? She said, why aren't you just like, if our connection is strong, why aren't you putting all your cards on the table? And he says, if I did that, would it help you? What does that mean? Interesting.
I'm actually not sure.
There's obviously like fear and vulnerability around. If I feel that way about you and you don't feel the same about me, then I'm going home, innit?
Oh, so now he's saying that he's worried she's going to reject him and he doesn't want to go home yet. So then I wonder if people don't go straight for an answer because they really don't want to go home. Obviously, we've talked in the past about the money element, but that's different for what I'm thinking now. But what if there's actually a fear of missing out? I don't want to miss out on the opportunity of just like, because this must be a really interesting experience. Like, how many people can say they've had a Love is Blind experience? So maybe it's more like that than the money.
I had a situation about 2 years ago. It kind of affected how I viewed like
So when he was 26, because he's 28 now.
dating in general. Yeah, I was seeing someone for a little while, probably around like 10 months or so. Probably the first time I was like really vulnerable with someone. I was really like giving it 100% and I didn't feel like I was getting back that 100%. It definitely affected me. I'm always willing to give people the benefit of the doubt until they prove otherwise.
So he's making it light of a joke, but he's also being open. He said, see, I'm being more open. And there's something there. I just think he's not ready and that's okay. But I do see some level of authenticity here in this moment with him. But I do think he's just too young. But he's not young because of his age, because he's 28 and she's 31. So the age gap is perfect. The issue is where he is in life. You know, he's not there yet. He's not there. Not all 28-year-olds are like this, but he's just a little too young. He feels more like 22 to me, if I'm going to be honest. Like his energy, the way he shows up in the world, it's giving 22. If he told me he was 22, I'd believe him.
You should probably know, like, I have another connection.
How you feel about your other connection?
The thing is that I know where I stand with him. I feel that's why I feel that I don't know where I stand with you.
Well, what is that? That doesn't make sense. How can you say I know where I stand with Damala, but I don't know where I stand with you? If you know where you stand with him, then what does it matter where you stand with Javen, unless you're not sure about him?
He's been making like grand gestures. The way that you express how you feel is obviously very different. Why are you laughing?
Probably haven't made too many grand gestures, I guess, but that's not me. That's probably not how I communicate, so.
Okay, that's fair. He said he laughed at the grand gesture comment, and he said that's probably not me. That's not how I communicate, which I think is really, really fair. Yeah, I would say that I'm not a grand gesture kind of person in that traditional sense. Like, I'm not going to write a poem for you or anything. I'm not going to write a short story about our love, which we saw in Queer Ultimatum. I'm a quality time, show up, focus, like you are the person I'm focused on kind of show up. But okay, because the question is Javen seeing anybody else? I think he's not, right?
I guess on my end, it's like, if I'm not your number one, then that's just the way the cookie crumbles, right?
Yeah, like ultimately, like, what are you gonna do? He doesn't seem very hurt by rejection, which is good.
If you're having doubts, I don't want you to be burdened with doubt. Like,
Oof.
I'm cool.
Okay, Javen, he is. I believe him, but I think it's because he's sort of not looking for long-term relationships in a big way. I don't think it's wisdom, but I think it's good that he's not too worried about being rejected. I think that's good.
You've got to go with what you feel comfortable with.
My head is just scrambled. I have one guy that's treating me very lovely and very attentively, like I've never been treated before. And then I have another guy who's slower paced. I guess more like my usual type.
See, more like my usual type. Girl, Javen is sweet in this episode, but he feels like he's 22. Damala at least feels like an adult.
Katisha, she's my number one. There's two in it, me and someone else. She was like, the other person's making like really big, like grand gestures, like love bombing her.
Uh-oh. The boys are talking. The boys are listening. Uh-oh.
What did he say?
No, I was like, I was just like, well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like some mad fairy tale story. I'm just gonna tell you what I think and I'm gonna tell you the truth.
It's This is so funny, the differences between the two, how they're expressing affection, but also like, do you see what I'm seeing? Because even the way he expressed that to his boys was like kind of young in a sense. Not that I don't think Damala has any bad intentions. I think that's just how he is. I think he is a romantic. I think that's how he expresses himself. Like Javen's so physical, he's so physical. He's so sporty. And then, do you guys see what I'm saying? I feel like the matchy match doesn't quite work there, but I wonder what it is about Javen that keeps her coming back, other than she said it was her type.
I feel like everything's just like come out today. I just want to know like what happens like in the middle of something that I didn't even know I was in the middle of.
Yeah, it's not that I didn't care, but this was more important to me.
Yeah.
In all honesty, Meg, I only want to do the rest of this journey with you.
Well, I love it being like transparent, and I really appreciate you putting those cards on the table.
Well, there you go. Meg and Kirsten basically saying they want to do the rest of the experiment together. No formal proposal, but I just talked about Sophie and how he said it wasn't his intention to hurt Sophie, but he wanted to make the grand gesture towards Megan, and they're both really keen on each other.
You are honestly the sweetest girl I think I've ever met. However you're feeling, I'm feeling the same, if not more. I am completely falling for you.
I think they're so cute together. Just had a realization. Oh, first of all, is that dolma on her plate? Wait a second. Do I see dolma? What is that, chavapi? What is that, a sausage? Focus, Brittany. Anyways, just realized she looks like Bibi Rexa, the singer. She's so cute, and I really like her, and I hope she's really happy with him.
He's like, you can hear me smiling through the wall.
Yeah.
Think that I would fall this deeply coming into this experiment at all. I didn't expect to be blown off my feet like this.
She makes me so happy. Okay, I hope she's happy.
Wow.
She deserves the world and she deserves a good guy. She just needs to believe in him. And I feel like I'm that guy.
Oh, he said, so this is Damala and Katisha. They're having a date, and he says that she deserves a nice guy, a good guy. And he wants, he knows that she doesn't believe in herself. And so that self-awareness, I think, is like really important. And not that he should save her or rescue her, but rather that he needs, I think in many ways it's good to be that optimistic person. Again, I would love it if she was a little bit more healed before she was dating seriously, because you don't want a man to come in and fill that void inside of you. And at the same time, as a man, you don't want to come in and try to rescue this girl. Like, this isn't that type of fairy tale, and those fairy tales are never as good as you think they are, because, they're not. So we want to make sure that these are two whole people coming together to build a union. And at the same time, I think it's really nice that he's being kind, compassionate, and paying attention to the details. I mean, he's self-aware, or at least aware of where he can see the vulnerability. And I don't think he's being malicious or, quote, love bombing her, like Javen said. I think he meant love bombing more casually, but obviously if Damala was love bombing her, that'd be a very serious issue, right?
I'm just trying to basically say that I hope you can see that I'm genuine. I'm looking for someone who I just want to be my life partner, my best friend, and I feel like you fit that.
Now, here's the third option. She leaves here single and she goes to therapy. Realistically, she might just be too insecure in her own self. She has to learn to trust herself. So until she learns to trust herself, she might actually not be able to pick either of the men, and she might do better just to leave here single. But I don't know.
I have another connection.
And how do you feel about that connection?
I honestly don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet at all.
I feel like if I'm saying, I feel like I'm right for you, and I feel like I've made that clear.
Yeah, it's interesting that she still doesn't know. That makes me feel like, not that she's a bad person, but she's not ready to be someone's wife, because she doesn't know. And I just think to myself, how do you not know? At least a little bit, to some extent at this point. But then at the same time, like, maybe this experiment isn't good for her type of brain. Maybe ultimately Love is Blind isn't a good way for her as a person to find connection.
I can see myself falling in love with you.
Okay, I like that he said I can see myself falling in love with you. Not to say that I am in love with you, but to say that I could see it. He says, I already know I'm more than halfway there, which is good, because now they're both more on the same page than not on the same page. He's not saying I'm in love with you. She's not saying I'm in love with you. She, though, is a little bit behind. So he's saying I'm at least halfway there. She's not even here, and they need to get there. So it's like, I don't know.
You deserve it all, and don't think that it's something that you shouldn't deserve.
Exactly. So he's reading that insecurity in her and trying to reinforce in a positive way, the same way that I think I would have the instinct to, and the same way that I'm doing now in this, this reaction. I'm trying to, for all the Katishas out there, just let them know that you deserve to be loved. You deserve a happy life. You deserve all these things. But not in an entitled way. Just like, that whatever that insecurity is within you, it's lying to you in a sense. Because to think you're not deserving of love, like, that's coming from some wound somewhere. So let's heal that wound, right?
Thank you.
I don't like hearing you cry, especially when I can't be there.
I feel like I probably wasn't allowing myself to feel exactly how I felt, but now I feel like my decision has been made.
Oh, also, is Katisha autistic? I just think everyone who's a little not normie might be, neurodivergent, but like,
can you see yourself falling in love with me?
I think so.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll work out. When I say I hope they work out, I don't mean that like I think they should work out. I just mean that if it's meant to be and it's joyful and they're happy, then that's great. And if they don't work out, that's also okay.
I can definitely see this working.
You don't understand how much I'm smiling.
I know you've got the next date.
Don't worry, nothing's going to change.
Say that again?
Nothing's going to change.
Okay, I love that.
I feel confident in my decision.
Katisha, you made me a happy man.
Yeah.
Okay, they seem pretty happy. Fingers crossed. I think Javen will take it well.
I think that I've realized that connection is possibly stronger than I had anticipated.
Okay, she's telling him right off the bat.
From very early on, this connection was very sure about me. I think ultimately it just kind of came down to how this person made me feel.
Yeah, like, that's the direction you want to go in. I'm not going to tell you to do otherwise. I'm going to tell you to do what you feel, what you think is the right thing to do for you.
Correct answer. Very correct. Okay.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And that is something that is like, I really admire about you. Like,
same. It's the one moment I felt like I could respect him, is that he isn't gonna make her feel bad for choosing somebody else, It's not
a nice feeling. I don't want anyone to be hurt, of course.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
It obviously doesn't mean that like our connection wasn't genuine. Is there anything you want to say?
He's got that, he kind of smiles when he's thinking, which could be a tick, like a shy kind of tick. People do smile, but they don't, it's like a nervous tick, But it also just like he just like I can't get over how young he feels. It's so weird because you meet a 28-year-old and they're like on your level. They're so mature. You need to meet another 28-year-old and it's like they feel like they're still in college. So it's kind of interesting. But he's handling it relatively well. He's not lashing out at her. He's not yelling at her. Like some people can get very impacted, which is okay. Being rejected is hard, but also it's not okay to lash out or be cruel. It's okay to feel a lot, but it's not okay to be mean to people. But right now he's doing very well.
I mean, I don't know. I thought I made my intentions clear, but I felt very strongly about how our days have been in here.
You don't have to stay, by the way, if you don't want to.
You've already broken my heart, so I'll stay and enjoy my drink.
Ooh, awkward. Okay, sometimes when these breakups happen, people really go their own way, but he's like staying, which is interesting. Is he hoping to change her mind? Is he just like, is this his way of sitting with his feelings?
But you don't have to stay if you don't feel like you want to or need to.
I mean, I can stay and enjoy my drink.
Oh, awkward.
I want to read you my notes for you that I've written for you, yeah? Over the last week, yeah?
Is this an interesting way to get closure or to confuse things? Let's see.
Location, Scotland, tick, tick. I don't know why I put 2 ticks, but there must be a reason why I put 2 ticks. Loves Jamaican food, tick, tick. Kind spirit, caring personality, good banter, funny, and cheeky.
Yeah, nothing in those notes were about values or goals, marriage, kids, growing old together, job. Interesting. Everything was about, everything was pretty superficial, but at least it was cute.
I feel disconnected from my decision.
Girl. Oh, Katisha, girl. Okay, she needs to leave this experiment and leave these men alone. What do you mean you feel disconnected? She doesn't know who she is. When you don't know who you are easily swayed by the person in the room in front of you. This girl changes her mind based off how the wind blows. And it's not that she's a bad person, but she doesn't know herself. This is why it is so important to know who you are, to know yourself. Why do you do what you do? And yes, sometimes in life, most of the time in life, we learn who we are through experimenting, through action, trial and error. But how old is our girl? She's 31, girl. Let's go, girly. And he's 28. You know what I mean? Like, don't put this man through this, but don't put yourself through it either. She needs to leave this experiment single and go to therapy and do philosophical work. Guys, therapy without philosophical work, you got to do the philosophical work. You got to know who you are in the universe. You got to know your role, your meaning, your sense of why. Therapy, mental health, philosophy work, consciousness work. Yeah, I'm upset a little bit on behalf of everybody involved, even her, that she's feeling swayed about her decision.
I thought I knew before I came in here, but now I feel like I'm not actually sure.
Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, that's so annoying for everybody. This is that stereotype, no offense, for people who are like, she never knows what she wants. She's back and forth. Oh, this is so frustrating.
Why are you not sure?
Because of my connection with you.
Oh, brother.
I can't propose to someone who doesn't want to be proposed to, so.
Don't you dare propose to her, and don't you dare let these men propose to you. It would be unethical, immoral for her to let either of these men propose to her.
I feel like my head is all over the place in here. I came into the date thinking I was going to end things with Javin, and then I find myself staying and not wanting to leave. And I have Javin, who doesn't really say much. He's like this dark, mysterious character.
He's not a dark, mysterious character. He's a 28-year-old boy who feels like he's 22. He's not dark and mysterious. He's just a boy. Ugh, girls. Girls, oh my God, girl.
Confused and overwhelmed, and I need more time to think.
It was interesting. That was like a roller coaster. She's gonna have to propose to me.
Okay, so Javen's back in the boy lounge, and they're like, how was the date? And he said it was a roller coaster, and he said she's gonna have to propose to me. Honestly, she should have to propose to one of these boys, because honestly, at this point, ridiculous. But that's the problem, is like, if you are a Katisha, girls, you're not going to live a good life, a fulfilled, joyful life if you really don't know yourself if you don't know yourself enough. She just doesn't know herself. This is, I think, a way a lot of people struggle with this. A lot of people really change who they are deeply depending on who's in the room. And that's why you would be amazed at how easy it is to get people like Katisha just to do stuff, because she has no sense of boundary. She has no sense of, no, I don't like that. Versus like a Sophie, you could never get Sophie to budge. She's just like, no. It's very different. So not to compare the girls, because they're both good girls, nice girls, kind girls even, but it's just one's a people pleaser, like very not knowing herself. And one is more, she knows herself more. And so you see that strength within Sophie.
I love you, Megan.
All right. They're going to be in love now.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
So, Megan, will you marry me?
I'm like, of course I
Wow. Okay. Yay for them. I'm excited to see how it goes. I wonder if they'll like each other. I think they will. I think they'll get along.
To my Patrick, the one who makes my mind tick. I've written a song for Patrick because he asked me to sing before and I didn't sing.
That's kind of brave. She like wrote a song for him. That's so bold.
I believe I'm gonna make a husband out of you. I think Patrick is feeling me.
See, but then she said, I'm going to make a husband out of you in the lyrics. But like, do we want to make a husband out of him? I mean, I know he's handsome and he looks nice and everything, but do not get distracted. I know she can't see him and we can, but do not get distracted by how he looks. Can she tell he's handsome? I've been wondering about this. Do you think you can tell what people look like from their voice? Because I know for a fact I cannot. I wonder if people are better at it than I am. I cannot tell what people are going to look like based off their voice.
Last date we had was weird.
See, and then she said the last date we had was weird.
I think I need to maybe be a bit more open. I think I'm a bit closed.
You're not closed. You're reacting appropriately based off the data. The data is what it is. You don't have similar values, worldviews, or outlooks. You don't see the world the same way. Your family doesn't see the world the same way. You're not closed-minded. You're accurately feeling not connected. See how we trick ourselves? This is so common. I've done this in my 20s 1,000 billion times. We convince ourselves, even though we know better, even though we can tell we're not right, there's something in your head that's like, just go for it. Just go for it anyways. You never know, but you do know. And eventually you will get to the point in your life where you do know. You are so set, you are so clear, your values are so clear that even when you have a little bit of doubt, it won't take very long to realize like, nope, I know I'm making the right decision. There's nothing wrong with doubting, but it's important that you don't trick yourself into thinking that this person isn't making you feel uncomfortable, because then you end up in this kind of situation.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. So I decided to write you a little cheeky song. I wanted to do something for you that I hope will be special and unique towards you, and you'll appreciate it. So
I wonder if he came in here to break up with her and then she was like, I'm going to sing you a song. And he's like, you know, let's see.
it's been really hard for me to like write original music recently, and like this connection with you and doing this with you has encouraged me to like write.
His reaction is so over the top that I'm wondering if he's going to be like, wait, don't sing for me. I'm actually ending things. Or if she's going to sing for him and then be like, I'm ending things. I don't know. Or is he overwhelmed with the gesture because he's like moved by it? I don't know.
I don't know what to say. Seriously.
Oh, do you want to hear the song?
I do, but you know when I asked you, can you sing for me?
Yeah.
And you said no.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Because I wanted it to be like from the heart.
I can definitely tell. I can definitely tell. Undeserving of that song, you know.
What? I don't want you to give me a song for someone who's undeserving of the song.
I've enjoyed thoroughly talking to you, but I have to follow my spleen.
The spleen. Damn, bro. They're going to leave us on a cliffhanger like that? Of course they are. It's Netflix. Of course they are. I just realized Anu looks like Angela Bassett. Love her. Love both of them. Really rooting for Anu to turn him down. Really rooting for Patrick to turn her down, because I think she needs someone more aligned with her values, more aligned with her worldview. And I guess with that said, thank you for watching. Leave a comment. Share this with somebody watching the show. And I guess we'll have to wait to see what happens next episode. All right. See you then. Bye-bye.